What's up? Hybrid Coach Mike here. Welcome back to another episode of Watching Me Train and Talk a lot of shit. Today we're going to be going through a new day of my new program. I'm currently in week 1 of my program, so the weights today aren't going to be very heavy. The volume is also going to be quite low, and the reason for that is because I want to ramp up my training over the next few weeks. What I've done is I've gone and picked the weights that I did at the end of my last training block, and I've just regressed those very slightly in the beginning of this new training block. So then what happens with the loads I'm lifting is that it kind of goes up, back a little bit, up, back a little bit, up, and back a little bit. So today you're kind of seeing week 1, which is a little bit more of a recovery week. We're not doing a whole lot of work, but the main thing this week is just to get the grooves oiled and get things rolling and build a little bit of a ramp up for the later weeks of the program. As always, if you want help with your hybrid training, lifting or running or both or whatever the fuck you want to do, hit the links below. I've got online coaching spots available to anyone anywhere in the world. All you need to do is DM me, reach out, message, and I'll do the rest. I've changed my program again slightly. The structure has changed. I'm still doing 3 runs a week, one of them being a long run on a weekend, the other one an easy run, and either a tempo or kind of interval run. But in terms of my gym sessions, previously I had 1 day of the week where I would do no lower body. Now I've changed my program. So now I've changed my program that 2 days of the week I have no lower body. And there's a reason for that. Previously what was happening was, although doing lower body twice in a week in the gym was actually fine for me for the most part, the way my runs have been progressing, I started to get a little bit of knee pain, particularly my left knee, and I've had this issue for a long time. The way that week structure worked out for me actually meant that my knee was kind of inflamed, and I felt it getting gradually more and more inflamed as the weights got heavier and as my running progressed as well. So in order to counter that, what I'm experimenting with in this program is having all of my lower body work in 1 day instead. That then means that I have more of the week to recover and more of the week to do my runs with less collision with the leg work that I was doing in the other days of the week. So all of my leg work now is on day 3, which is the 3rd day of my gym program. And on that day, I'll do my squats, hamstring curls, and everything else. It's kind of like your typical leg day, and I have deadlifts in there as well. This, I'm hoping, I will keep you posted if it works, is going to allow me to progress both my squat and deadlift, because I'm going to have 1 week where I go heavy on squats, 1 week when I go light on deadlifts, and I'm going to alternate that. And then it'll give me more days to recover in between before my next run, and with the remainder of the runs I have in the following week. Hopefully this takes a little bit of the niggle out of my knee. I also just wanted to try a different structure because I've been following the previous flow for quite a while, and I wanted to experiment with something a little bit different. And if it works, I'll be able to apply it to my clients as well. I am always the test dummy before I apply anything to my clients. Anyway, top set of bench, I'm gonna do 3 sets of 5, pause with 100. Like I said, it's week 1, weights are not heavy this week at all. So this should be quite easy. Yeah, sweet as. 2 more sets of that, then close grip. You don't have to change training blocks often. I've actually kept all of the same exercises in this training block as I did the last one, the exact same. I've changed nothing. The only thing I have changed is the structure and the days the exercises are on. That's all I've done. I'm a big fan, if a program is working and you find the exercises are working for you, keep them in, milk them, try to get as much out of them as you can before changing. The reason why is because 1, if it's working, you want to keep it working for as long as you can. 2, if you change everything at once, you don't actually know what was helping you before and what is going to help you now, and you might fuck it up. So you usually don't need to change everything. If anything, do small changes each time and just see how you go. Small changes are generally better, and it's easier to measure that way. Now, what went well in my last training block is that everything I did pretty much worked, other than the fact that my knee copped a little bit of a beating with the days I had in succession. Bench went up, I think I did 120 for 5. Squat went up, I think I did 170 or 180 for 5, which is pretty good. And then for me, and then deadlifts, I got up to 220 for 5, I think a couple sets of 5. None of those are PBs, by the way. My best for 5, I think I've done 135 or 137 on the bench for 5 reps. Deadlift, I think I've done 260 for 5 reps. And for squat, I've done 200 for 5, okay? Those are my best ever. The plan is at the end of this block or by the end of the next one, I'll be doing those weights again. This time, I'll be running way more. Last time I did those numbers, I was not running anywhere near as much or as fast as I was. I think I hadn't even started running yet, or just started running. So this year has been good in terms of training, as I've gotten myself close to my strongest ever once again, while being my fastest and fittest ever at the same time. And my body weight has stayed somewhat stable. So I'm hoping I can just continue that progression. Everything seems to be going well, and I don't want to fuck it up just yet by changing everything. I just finished normal bench. Now I'm gonna do some closed grip bench. If you haven't seen my last video, watch that. I discuss a lot more things regarding the bench press, particularly why you can handle so much volume and why I'm doing so much volume and whatnot. But for now, let's see how this goes. Close grip, paused. Your close grip should be about a hand space in from where your regular grip is, roughly. As you can see, the weights are not heavy today. If I had to give that a rating out of 10, it was probably a 5. That's the point. I want this week to be easy, so then I can ramp it up in the next 4 or 5 weeks afterwards. Today, this week, chill. Because of how light this week of training is, some would consider this week a deload week. For me, I kind of called it an intro week, which doesn't mean it's a full deload, but because I've pulled back the volume and intensity in this week, I would say this week is designed to kind of just keep the wheels rolling, but facilitate a little bit of recovery as well. We're not really adding any fatigue this week. When it comes to figuring out when you should deload, I just do it when I feel like it. If I feel tired and sluggish and like I've maxed out everything I can, I'll deload. So for me, that's part of the reason why I actually changed my program around. I felt like my last one was leaving me really cooked and fatigued by the end of the week, which then meant that my last few sessions in that week were subpar or not at the standard I wanted them to be, which is why I've decided to change things around a little bit this time, which then hopefully will facilitate a bit more fatigue management, and I can then push this program a little bit longer and further than I did the last one, and obviously keep my knee under control. When signs I'm looking for, if I am super fatigued, are like restlessness, soreness, do I have like brain fog? Do I have like a weird appetite? Do I feel demotivated? Do I find the weights in the gym move slower than normal or feel heavier than normal? Do I find I'm running slower than normal, or do my runs feel harder than normal? Those kind of things are the things I'm looking at, and then I'll make a decision. Okay, you should probably pull back for a week, so then you can ramp it up again the week after. If you're immobile, particularly through your upper back and lats, if you're a bigger dude or you're just immobile due to injury, trying to spend time pulling across your body can do a lot for your shoulder range of motion, stretching out your lat, and actually helping you move your rib cage. A lot of movement in the upper body, particularly the shoulder, is dictated by your rib cage, because that is where your scapula sits. If you're unable to move your rib cage, you can have limitation in the ability of your scapula to move, which therefore limits your ability of your shoulder to move, or your arm. So what I'm trying to do, I'm immobile, okay, I'm not very mobile in terms of my upper body mobility, is trying to get more movement out of my upper back thoracic area. Not only is this important just for everyday life, but when you run, you actually need quite a bit of rotation, and as bigger lads, you're going to find that gets harder and harder the bigger you are. If you can't move very well through your upper body, it can inhibit your running performance and your running form. You don't want a really stiff upper body. You need some rotation because it will help with your cadence and your leg movement and everything else. This one has been a new fave. I'm really trying to stretch and pull. Let me backtrack a bit. So I mentioned how my upper body tends to need a lot more volume in order to progress compared to my lower body. So just to give you a rundown of kind of what that looks like, right now for my lower body is in squats and deadlifts. Whenever I refer to lower body, those are the movements I'm primarily talking about, lower body training. I'm only doing 5 sets of squats a week and about 4 to 5 sets of deadlifts a week. That's it. Plus a few other little exercises, but those are really the only lower body movements I'm doing. And the reason why is because I'm obviously running so much. So I'm managing that volume as much as I can, but I'm gonna squeeze as much as I can out of each of those exercises. So they're not gonna go to waste. Upper body though, I'm doing heaps. Heaps of benching, some shoulder work, upper back or back work, you name it, I do a lot of it. The upper body recovers a lot easier, and obviously it tends to not cop as much fatigue as my lower body does, also because of the amount of running that I'm doing. So keep that in mind. I also find doing a lot of upper body is just more fun for me anyway, because you want to look jacked. I don't want to look like a runner. That's a bit vain, but it's the truth. I follow quite a strict structure to my programming for myself. I do feel like many hybrids can get away with far less structure. I just know what structure kind of works for me, and I'm willing to change it around if I need to. And I also have enough knowledge about myself and just programming principles and stuff in general to know what I need to manipulate to still ensure progress while keeping within the parameters of, what I need for that day. So that's called auto-regulation. I can change things as I go if I see fit. It's hard to do that when you're not 100% sure as to what you should do. And oftentimes people will listen to their body, and I don't think listening to your body is always the best way to go. There are many sessions where I come into the gym and I feel terrible, but I'll still have a great training session. There's many runs where I go to run, my legs feel heavy, and I start flying. It's very hard to know what you need and when you need it. But as I mentioned before, if you're looking for weeks or days in succession of feeling tired, sluggish, fatigued, the weights feel heavy, your runs feel slow, appetite is bad, losing sleep, grumpy, moody, whatever it is, if you're having days or even weeks of that, that is when you should know to kind of pull back on your training. But don't just use it on a day-by-day basis. You can't base every day as if it's going to be bad just because you had a little bit of a bad night's sleep. Some of my best sessions have been on 4 or 5 hours sleep, and I'm not saying that's the same for everyone, but you're not as fragile as you often think you are. Nonetheless, I think having some kind of understanding of what you need and what you can tolerate is always going to benefit you, and try to use what you've done in the past as a prediction. If you know you've done something in the past, you know it's supposed to be easy, give it a crack anyway. If it doesn't go to plan, pull back. If it does, just fucking do it. And that could apply to if I'm supposed to bench press 100 kilos for 5 reps, I've done it before, it should be okay today, but if I get to 90 and it doesn't feel good, all right, I'll pull back. If I got to run at 5-minute pace and I get to 5:30 and I'm already feeling fucked, okay, pull back. You can make decisions like that on the fly. The key thing is that you should still do some kind of work. I'm a big fan of athletes, even when fatigued, doing something. I think athletes today are too caught up in this recovery mindset that they end up not training hard at all, or literally taking a day off as soon as they feel the slightest bit of fatigue. You're not that fragile. Fuck. That's a wrap on another video. Thanks for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Click the links below if you want to get coached by me. Hybrid coaching for anyone, beginners to advanced, anywhere in the world. All you need to do is reach out to me and I'll do the rest. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm keeping these coming. Thanks for watching.